Hey, are you wondering what's happening in the Scottsdale real estate market? Well, buckle up, let's go. It's April 10th. We're gonna just jump right into it. I'm Dusti Martin with the Martin Group at Platinum Living Realty. Our active listings year over year are up 223% over this time last year, which, when you think about it, we didn't hardly have any inventory this time last year, but retrospectively, we've actually been seeing listings drop month over month for over 90 days now going in a row. And just in the last 30 days, we dropped almost 10%, 9.45 month over month to be exact. And that is a huge drop in inventory just for month over month. So yes, we want to look at the big picture, but to put it in perspective, this time last year, we had like zero inventory, and this time this year, we actually have some. So yes, percentage-wise, it's a huge jump, but it's really only maybe about 1,200 listing difference. Now, our sold listings are down. As much as new listings are up, active listings are up, our sold listings are only down 14% over this time last year, currently sitting at 665 listings that closed in the month of March for the city of Scottsdale. Our median sale price per square foot, though, is down 6.3% over this time last year. However, I am starting to see bidding wars again, so that might be changing soon. Who knows? But our median price per square foot is currently sitting at $382.29, where this time last year we were at $408 in the city of Scottsdale. Our months of supply, like I said, is up 275% over this time last year, but we're still only at 2.43 months of supply. Now, why is months of supply still in a seller's market, but our median price per square foot, why is that kind of going down? I think a lot of it has to do with things take 30 to 60 days to close. But I also think part of what's happening is that not all sellers are equally educated on the market. And unfortunately, not all agents are either. So I think there might be some people out there who are accepting lower offers when maybe they shouldn't be. I know my listings are either going for very close to asking, if not over. So with that said, it makes you wonder what's kind of going on. But then again, buyers are always the first to know what's happening in the market. So we probably won't know what they're thinking right now for another 30 to 60 days. So we got to keep that in mind. So like I said, our months of supply is up, but we're still only at 2.43 months of supply, which is still well inside a seller's market. We're just trying really hard not to compare it to last year where we had 0.65 months of supply, meaning just over 2 weeks. So that was kind of some hype and hysteria, if you will. But this is about the time last year when interest rates really started moving and buyers began to start seeing things impacted. So my guess is we will start to see our numbers even out and kind of stabilize. Now, our median days on market is up 183% over this time last year, currently sitting at a median days on market of only 51 days. So subtract 30, you're left with about 21 days. In other words, your home should at least be under contract in about 21 days. We're hoping. This time last year was 18 days, meaning a lot of people were paying cash because even the fastest of loans take at least 3 weeks to close. And at 18 days, you're not at that 3 weeks yet. So that means either there was a lot of buyers who were really like on the ball, had their stuff together and were able to close in 3 weeks, or a lot of cash. And because of that, they were able to close faster. A lot of cash deals close in only 10 to 15 days. So when you start seeing days on market less than like 21, that tells you there's a lot of cash or a lot of buyers who've already done everything. They just need an address to put on their loan application. So with that said, let's take a look at our months of supply. If you're new here, this is a good time to pause it, get a drink, hit the subscribe button, because now we're going to break it down by months of supply by price point, because not every price point is created equal. This past month, we had 4 listings in the $0 to $100,000 price range but none of them sold. We don't know if they came on the market at the end or if they're just not as lovable as others. I think that's the more PC way to say it. But whatever the deal was, they didn't sell. So we don't really have any data that we can calculate there. We know there's 4 there, but they didn't sell. Therefore, we've got nothing to show for it. So we don't really know if it's just there's no buyers or if maybe they're under contract now. Here we are 10 days in, but who knows? But for the month of March, they were there. Nobody loved them. Then we get to the $100,000, $200,000 price range. We're at a 12-month supply in that price point in Scottsdale. My guess in that price range is it's a lot of the older co-ops in Old Town Scottsdale and further south in Scottsdale. And a lot of those are not financeable. And my guess is there's just not a huge buyer pool for those properties. The average buyer, especially like first-time buyer, isn't going to be able to buy those properties because you can't get a loan on them. If you can't get a loan, then you got to find something else. So my guess is it's a lot of those older co-ops that have weird kind of rules and regulations that aren't financeable, and or they might be in rough shape and also maybe not financeable or just not palatable to buyers. Either way, you are way inside buyer's market territory in the $100,000 to $200,000 price range, which tells me if you're looking at the 0 to 100,000 and knowing those 4 didn't sell, they're probably priced too high if they're not already under contract. Then we look at the $200,000 to $300,000 price range, and we have this huge swing of the pendulum into a super hot seller's market at 1.29 months of supply. This is on par with what we were seeing in early 2020 before the shutdowns, and then even through the shutdowns in Arizona, as people realized that Arizona was one of the only places you could go do stuff after about a couple of weeks of being locked up. So we started to see our inventory really plummet at this point in time in 2020. So here we are 3 years later, and it's almost like history might be repeating itself. Now, interest rates were lower then than they are now, but one thing hasn't changed, and it's that people still need a place to live. So then we look at our $300,000 to $500,000 price range, and we're at 1.66 months of supply. So still just over a month and a half or 6 weeks. If you're not having bidding wars on your listings at this point, you're priced wrong. Plain and simple. You're marketed wrong, you're priced wrong, because at this price point, at this level of inventory, you should be having bidding wars. That means buyers, listen up. This is not the time to be putting in low balls. That time has passed. The spring selling season is here, and you are now again competing in a very strong seller's market. Then we look at the $500,000 to $700,000 price range. We're not much better there at 1.81 months of supply. That is still also a really hot seller's market, and you are probably also going to have multiple offers in that scenario. If you're a seller and you don't, you're probably not priced right or marketed right or both. If you're a buyer and you're not seeing that, chances are the home you're bidding on is either not desirable or not priced appropriately. And that means you should make an offer appropriately, if you catch my drift. Then you look at the $700,000 to $1 million price range. We're at 2.05 months of supply. So basically about 8 weeks in a day worth of inventory. When you are looking in that price point, you'll probably still see multiple offers, maybe not 8 or 15, but 2 or 3 for sure, especially on the hot properties in the hot neighborhoods where everybody wants to be. So if it's a highly desirable property, there's a good chance you could see multiple offers. In another part of town with similar amount of inventory and months of supply, one of my listings just went pending with 5 offers total, one of which waived the appraisal. So when you look at that months of supply, if something really is marketed and priced appropriately, that's the type of response you should be seeing in these price points. Now let's look at the $1 to $3 million price range. We are back in seller's market territory after a little hiatus and a fluctuation to the even stable market territory, and we've been dancing around outside seller market territory. We're back inside now at 3 months worth of inventory. In other words, should take about 90 days to sell your home, about 2 months on the market and another 30 days to close. Again, you are in seller's market territory. However, if you were a seller, I would only maybe expect 1 or 2 good offers, and I would expect them not to exactly be list price, but maybe 2 to 3% under that. So keep that in mind, just because when you get to that point, if buyers don't know that they're competing, and there's a good chance they may not be, there's a good chance that they're just not going to come in at full price. That's just how it is. So then we look at the $3 million price range and over. This price point has actually come back out of buyer's market territory from last month, and we're currently sitting at 5.76 months of supply. So we went from buyer's market, now we're back to an even stable market over $3 million. However, there's 213 going into the month of April. 213 listings were in that price point, but only 37 sold. So the odds really are still stacked against you. You're probably not going to see full price offers unless you price your home very aggressively in comparison to the comparable properties around you. But I still, at that point, would not expect buyers to come in at full price, and they may be looking to try to get a bargain. If you're wondering what your home would sell for in today's market, or if you're wondering what it would look like as you are trying to buy a home in Scottsdale, and you're wondering what you'll be up against in your area, your zip code, and in the price point you're searching, go ahead and give me a call at 480-717-9405 or visit my website at dustimartinrealtor.com.